but caught him and captured the huge prize. The Freightliner number 6 is on a mission. Only once have the Mighty Mods raced at Delaware International Speedway, and the scoreboard reads, the Doctor won, the field nothing. Tonight, the wild-eyed Southern boys come after the Dirt Stars in the CarQuest North-South Showdown, live on Rush Hour.
Dirt track, born in the cornfields and lower 40s of rural America. Dirt track, the cornerstone of racing. The early barnstormers put it all on the line to satisfy their thirst for speed. Now, their great-grandchildren carry the torch with the same spirit and thirst. 700 horsepower rips the earth.
Empathize with that, you know.
A lot of people would say that this hasn't been your typical Bob McCready year, but you're in the thick of the point standings here at Cayuga County and in the thick of the Skull Series point standings, too.
Well, it hasn't been a typical year because usually I do work on the car and all that kind of thing. And this whole year I haven't even been in the shop much. The guys have carried me. And no, it's not a typical year, but that shows you how good this team is, how strong this team is, and how good the people are, the peripheral people around this team. They can carry on even without me and still run pretty good.
You've had a fantastic year, in particular here at Cayuga County. You come into tonight 5th place in the Skull Series points. You could really advance with a good finish.
Well, look, we'd like to do well on the points and all that, but tonight the most important thing in the world for us is winning this race. If we're going to concentrate on that, the points will come with that.
And then we move on to Syracuse and beyond.
Yeah, and beyond. Well, we're just having some fun. We're trying to enjoy this year as much as we can.
Have you looked into the crystal ball of what the future may hold for Barefoot Bob?
No, I don't look that far ahead.
Barefoot Bob McCready. He's going to be one of the top guns to beat in tonight's Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series event here at Cayuga County, guys.
And, of course, Gary, there are questions, growing speculation as to the future of Bob McCready next year on the dirt circuit. As for this year, let's take a look at the Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series point standings after 16 events.
Danny Johnson leading with a 5-point advantage over Brett Hearn. Danny has 5 wins. Brett has only won 3. Danny has finished in the top 10 10 times. Hearn has finished in the top 10 11 times. Jimmy Horton winless, but top 10 12 of them. So he's been very, very consistent. Jack Johnson with a pair of wins, 11 top 10 finishes. Bob McCready with just 1 win. The opening race back at Susquehanna, he top 10 in 11 races as well. Steve Payne, who's not here tonight, is 6th in the standings. And we go back to the number 7 spot. That'll be Timmy McCready, outstanding second generation driver. That's Bob's son. He's just 24 years old. Alan Johnson, the winningest driver. You saw that graphic a moment ago. Billy Decker, Doug Hoffman, last year's champion. Jeff Hetzler, who's struggling a bit this year. And Timmy Fuller cracks into the top 12.
You take a look behind the standings and you see the stands. We are absolutely packed to the rafters for this big Skull Bandit Super Dirt Series event. Now, both Jack Johnson and Jimmy Horton are poised for a come-from-behind run to the Skull Series Championship. For Jack, it would be his 5th. For Jimmy, his 1st. Here is Cowboy Paul Small.
In order to win a championship, you have to be consistent. And in the case of Jimmy Horton, you've been incredibly consistent, but we're all wondering when you're finally going to win one of these races.
Bob, Michelle, Valstar, too. You know, my car owners, they've been real good about it. You know, we've been there. You know, just need a little bit of luck right now. You know, and we should have had a couple won already, but that doesn't slip away.
You were particularly strong here in a couple of visits in the spring. Does that give you any more confidence coming into tonight's race?
No, not really. You know, I haven't been that good here. You know, it's just, you know, we got our best car here, and we're going to take our best shot, and hopefully we can be there at the end.
What would it mean to you if you walked out of the Syracuse race, the Page 300, with the Skull Racing Super Dirt Series title?
Oh, it mean a lot. You know, it's you know, how many years have I been trying? You know I went other places doing other things, and you know, kind of didn't focus on it for the last 10 years or so. But you know, it'd mean a lot. You know, a career boost.
Now, Jimmy Horton is going for the Skull Series Championship. It's something that Jumpin' Jack Johnson has won many times before. Jack's also shooting to become the first driver to win Syracuse in 3 different decades. And, Jack, you seem to be peaking at just the right time here at the end of the season.
Well, thank God, you know, we're peaking right now. We got off to a real slow start, and we're finally getting our act together, and the car's running real well. We come up here and tested last week, and the car felt good, and we're looking for a good run tonight.
And you're at a racetrack you know very well. You've won many, many times here.
Yeah, we've been here before, and I know the racetrack pretty good. It's a luck of the draw tonight, and like Jimmy said, You know, I'd rather be lucky than good, and it takes a lot of luck to win any race, especially here at Weedsport.
What would it mean to you to win Syracuse this year at that Phase 300?
A lot of money.
Money is definitely what it's all about, as well as prestige, and both of these drivers are gunning for that and plenty more in tonight's event.
Seems like that would be enough motivation, Gary.
Yeah, $100,000 is a lot of motivation. He's won that race on a couple of occasions in the past, so he knows what it's all about.
We have thoroughly enjoyed all the participation in a Rush Hour banner contest all over our Rush Hour series. Tonight's winner, Karen Call. And Karen, with this beautiful entry, is now eligible for the year-end grand prize of $1,000. We are live at Cayuga County Fair Speedway, and our coverage of the Saves PPG Challenge 97 on Rush Hour will continue after these messages. This is the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Rush Hour on Dirt is brought to you in part by Easy Care Extended Service Contracts, Top Oil Engine Treatment, Budweiser, the King of Beers, Midstate Communications, Hoosier Racing Tire, Sunoco A-Plus Mini Market, and by CarQuest Auto Parts. Welcome to the pros, CarQuest.
Making it to the pros takes a certain level of excellence, the experience to get the job done right, and a reputation for quality. Like top quality Champion spark plugs from CarQuest, Champion gets your engine started fast and running at best. No matter what you drive, Champion keeps you fired up and in the game. So for the best possible performance, install what the pros install. CarQuest. Welcome to the pros.
Are you top on your car's engine? Then
Lube Express Drive-Thru Lube Center offers consumers a full-service oil change in just 10 minutes, and no appointment is ever needed. Your Lube Express technicians are fully certified to ensure your complete satisfaction. In just 10 minutes, Lube Express will change your oil and filter, grease the entire chassis, top up all fluids, plus perform these other valuable services. Remember, all work at Lube Express is 100% warranty approved.
Visit the Lube Express store in your area at Bergenfield, Cedar Grove, Edison, Greenbrook, Phillipsburg, and South Plainfield.
It's really no big deal to me. I mean, I'm just so used to having him as my uncle. He's just a normal guy to me. I know it's kind of interesting to other people because he's a rich, famous actor, but to me, he's just old Kurt, and he's my uncle. He was in AA. He was doing really well. He was a good player, but I think probably getting hurt was probably one of the better things that happened to him. He kind of took his career in a different way, and it didn't turn out too bad. You know, I like most of his movies. I think most of his movies are pretty good, but I think my favorite ones are when he's doing comedy.
Certainly, sir.
It's easy. So call for this free catalog right away.
Call toll-free 1-800-822-6500. That's 1-800-822-6500. Toll-free 1-800-822-6500.
We are live at the home of Dirt Motorsports, Cayuga County Fair Speedway in Weedsport, New York, for the Saves PPG Challenge 97 on Rush Hour. Doug Logan, along with Gary Montgomery in the starting field, is getting assembled now on the front straightaway here at Cayuga County. Well, you know, a front runner for much of the season, Brett Hearn now finds himself in second place in the school points and basically needing to win on a track that has given him fits. He's standing by now with our cowboy Paul Small.
A couple of weeks ago, a flat tire knocked him out of the lead at Delaware, and Brett Hearn, that puts you behind in the point standings coming into, shall we say, enemy territory tonight.
Well, you know, we could run good here. We've won a race, school race here just a couple of years ago. We finished second last year, so, I mean, we can run good here, and we felt pretty good in the heat tonight. So, I mean, we both know it's all got to come down to Syracuse, with the points being double for Syracuse. But a nice finish here tonight. We just keep everything nice and even.
You seem to have a little smile on your face when you say the word Syracuse, probably because you've done so incredibly well there.
Well, I mean, you know, it's still a lot of luck's going to play into that race, and it'll probably come down to one of us who won't finish. It's unlikely that we'll finish first and second or third and fourth or whatever, but points-wise, it's going to boil down to that, and that's all there is to it.
Jack Johnson said earlier tonight he'd rather be lucky than good. Well, Brett Hearn at times is both lucky and good.
Well, no question about it. Brett is someone special. Certainly is, and he's the only 5-time winner of the Phase 300 at Syracuse.
Well, now these drivers have been stretched to the limit this season, and this week has been no exception. Not only the days coming up, but the days just passed. And Gary, this is quite a struggle for all the drivers and the crews.
It certainly is. If it weren't for a couple of rainouts, they would have run, by the end of tomorrow night, they would have run 8 races in 7 days. Now, there were a couple of rainouts at Brewerton on Wednesday and Can-Am on Thursday, but nevertheless, the teams had to those events. So the fact that they didn't run them really doesn't play into the deal, because they had to travel, get their cars ready, and so forth. So it's been a very, very busy schedule. Ransomville, Lebanon Valley on the schedule there at each end of the state, so it's a long ways around.
Also, Thursday, September 11th, Can-Am 358 series. Friday, September 26th, on to Brewerton.
Yeah, those are the rain dates for those events. As I said, rained out on Wednesday and Thursday of this past week.
Very busy schedule for our dirt track racing superstars. And of course, the 48th annual New York State Fair 50-lap modified championship comes your way Monday, September 1st. That's tomorrow. Racing starts at 1 o'clock. And then the 26th annual Robert Ann Petrocchi Memorial at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park. 75 laps for the big block modifieds. That's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And Bruno DiMatteo came by and said, Doug, make sure you talk about our special value. All race fans 12 and under will be admitted free of charge. So make it a family affair.
They've got another big race coming up. We'll talk more about that later, but that's a giant doubleheader tomorrow. Those racetracks about 15 miles apart, so there's going to be a lot of scrambling between Syracuse and Auburn, New York, to make that doubleheader.
Now, our Skoal Series leader is Danny Johnson, and Paul Small is down with him.
There couldn't be a better time for Danny Johnson to be in the points lead on the Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series than tonight, coming into Cayuga County.
I tell you, it's right where we want to be, is in the lead, and we're going to see if we can't carry it into a 97-point championship and for the dirt title. And, you know, we've had some good luck so far this season. We're just seeing how far we can continue our luck in making it that good, too.
5 guys all in the hunt for the points championship. You're the points leader, not by much. You know it's all going to come down to Syracuse this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, I think we got a good program together for Syracuse this year, and, you know, we're just going to play race by race and hope we hit the right setups and get us in the front or near the front where we need to be.
Now, tomorrow, you go to the New York State Fairgrounds for the final tune-up before Super Dirt Week, the New York State Fair Championship. How much can you learn tomorrow to apply to Super Dirt Week?
Well, you know, all the experience you get helps, you know, to, you know, gain you a little bit more, you know, experience. And, you know, it's hard to beat that experience. Any little experience you can get, you know, sure does help.
Danny Johnson's got a 5-point lead coming into tonight here at Cayuga County. He wants that margin to be a lot bigger when we leave tonight.
And as we have gone, Gary, Danny really has gotten the job done.
He certainly has. He's become a very, very talented race car driver. We used to call him Dangerous Dan, Daring Dan. He's still all of that, but he has won 7 of 23 Skoal big block races, 2 of 9 Sunoco Mr. Dirt races so far this year, 6 of the 15 Skoal 358 races, 4 of the Sunoco 358 Mr. Dirt races. So, I mean, what else can the guy do? I mean, it's win, win, win all over the country, doing a great job for us.
Incredible winning percentage for the Doctor, Danny Johnson, and he is really enjoying one sensational season in the number 6. Well, the future is now in dirt motorsports. A new dimension in racing is being unveiled all around the dirt circuit with the introduction of these spec cars. You see them in action from earlier this evening.
They look a lot like the dirt modifieds and dirt sportsman cars, and in fact they are, but they're really all different. The basic design, the roll cages and so forth is similar, but they're different dimensions. The big deal here is the motors. They are restricted. They're going to be a ZZ4 350 cubic inch Chevrolet coming straight from General Motors, and the biggest deal is that they're going to be sealed, and therefore the drivers can't or the owners can't do anything with them. That's an objective to keep the cost down. This is a program put together by Glenn Donnelly and Billy Colton at Troyer Race Cars and Parts. The cars are going to be race ready, lettered and ready to go for $18,000. They've made them a little bigger so big old guys can get in them. This was a race that went on here earlier tonight, and Steve Hall won it in the number 9 pool.
And the fans really enjoyed it, and these drivers very much are impressed with the quality of these machines, and they will be available on sale come Super Dirt Week. Well, earlier, Paul Small spoke with the engineering genius who created these spec cars, Troyer Engineering's Billy Colton.
This is a concept that Glenn Donnelly brought to us. What it is, it's a modified, which the cost is going to be a lot more in line. All the cars are identical. It has a lot of spec parts that will contribute to keeping the cars even and cost effective, such as the engines, the sealed engine, shocks and springs are all the same. It's a heavy duty, rugged type of race car, which will hold up real well and put on a heck of a show, real competitive.
And you see him from action earlier this evening here in front of a capacity crowd at Cayuga County Fair Speedway.
All the drivers that have had a chance to run these cars at the various school shows and so forth are all very, very enthusiastic. We've had regular asphalt, not asphalt, but dirt drivers, Bushman and modified drivers in them, and they love them.
Well, you know, this year, Paul Small has gotten himself into some very unique places while reading his Gator newspaper. Let's see where the cowboy is now.
Now there's a face only a mother could love. The folks at Racing Images put this little number together. Hey, I don't really look like that, do I? Well, I tell you what, here's a newspaper that every race fan could love. Right here, it's the Gator Racing News, and here's how you can get a free issue of the Gator. Call this number during regular business hours, 315-457-0175, and tell them you heard about the Gator on Rush Hour on Dirt. They'll give you a free issue, no questions asked, and they'll give you a sweetheart subscription deal. A full year of the Gator, that's 32 issues, only $27. Call 315-457-0175, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. and tell them you had to get a Gator from Rush Hour on Dirt.
All right, thank you, Cowboy. Again, you take a look at the starting field on the front straightaway here in Weedsport and the packed stands as we get set with nervous anticipation for tonight's big race. We are live at Cayuga County Fair Speedway.
Dirt Motorsports lost a great friend last week. A tough and committed racer, Fred Taney, a longtime official of the Dirt organization and a friend of all racers, passed away at the Cayuga Speedway. We all mourn his death. Our thoughts and prayers are with Fred's family.
Racing's best and brightest beauties show up in their brand new apparel from the new Dirt Sportswear Direct catalog. And this catalog's free. It's the latest in fast fashion from Dirt Sportswear Direct, shown by some famous faces and bodies. It's the best racing apparel in the best free catalog. You don't want to miss this stuff, so order your catalog today. Call toll-free 1-800-979-DIRT. 1-800-979-DIRT.
In the days before credit cards and checkbooks, if a customer didn't have cash, that customer was out of luck. But even back in 1898, J. Milton Eckert knew there had to be a better system. If a customer in his drugstore needed medicine, Eckert would find a way to help, even if it meant accepting corn seed or even farm tools and trade. Whatever helped the customer most. That's what Eckert stood for then, and still does today.
Hey, look.
What?
Pan Am Fall Sale ends September 3rd.
So, what does that mean?
This fall, Pan Am offers great fares.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like New York to Miami from only $89.
Come on.
New York to L.A. from only $124.
Oh, wow, you're kidding.
San Juan from only $121. Santo Domingo from only $187.
Get out of here.
Exactly.
Pan Am Fall Sale. For details, call 1-800-FLY-PAN-AM. Hello, Pan Am. I'd like to get out of here.
We are live just outside Syracuse, New York at Cayuga County Fair Speedway in Weedsport for the Saves PPG Challenge 97 on Rush Hour.
Doug Logan along with Gary Montgomery and a cast of thousands upon thousands of hungry race fans ready for this classic. Well, it's time now for our internet question of the week. Fire up your computer and log on to Dirt Motorsports homepage, www.dirtmotorsports.com. Then click on television to find tonight's question. Be the first to correctly answer tonight's question, and you will win an official Rush Hour on Dirt prize. Remember, you can stay updated on Dirt 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We will see you in Dirt Cyberspace. We are just about ready to go racing, and let's bring you up to date on what you can expect here at Weedsport. Our race analysis. This one will go 97 laps, and we are looking for a starting field of 30 cars. The total purse, $30,000. $6,000 to win. Caution laps do not count for the first 50 laps or the last 3. We will finish under the green. The weather, well, it was threatening a little bit earlier, but it looks like we might be okay to get all 97 laps of high-powered racing in here this evening. As for our track description,
it's a 3/8 mile oval. I used to call it 1/3. It's the straightaways are 390 feet long. The banks are banked 14. The turns are banked 14 degrees. The unique characteristic is there are walls all the way around the outside of the place and about halfway around on the inside as well. It's a tough racetrack.
Now for our track condition. Let's go down trackside in Cowboy Paul Small.
Into every person's life, a little rain must fall. And a great thing, too, because we have come up with a killer racing surface for tonight's event here at the Cayuga County Fair Speedway. Look at how soft and tacky and spongy this clay is. It's like that all the way around the racetrack. They're going to be running high, low, and everywhere in between tonight. One guy that likes to run the low side when we come here to Cayuga County, and he's in the thick of the points battle for the track championship here, is Joe Plazik in the Canadian car number 1. Joe, chips are down tonight for that track title.
Well, I'll tell you what, it shouldn't be as close as it is. I just had a bad 3 weeks here, the last 3 weeks, but tonight's going to come down to tell the tale. I mean, Bob's starting on the outside front row. We're starting back here in 16, so I know I got to win. He knows he's got to win. His chances might be a little better than mine, that's all.
You've already won Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series event earlier this year at Canandaigua. Be nice to add one here, I'm sure.
Well, we could do it here. I mean, we've won a few features here this summer already, so I'm not really worried about winning, but I don't know if I can get there. That's all. It's a lot of tough competitors in front of me here.
Joe Plazik is starting back in 16th tonight, so he does have a little way to go if he wants to get to the front of the field, Doug.
We will keep an eye, though, on the Canadian number 1.
Joe has not just won 1 school race this year. He's won 2. He won on the mile at Syracuse. He also won at Canandaigua, as Paul mentioned. He was 5th at Rolling Wheels on television, so he's got a great record. That's the only races he's run, the school races. But his regular schedule has been fantastic. He's won 16 times this year at all the various racetracks.
And he really is an outstanding racer. Our race command will be given by the regional manager of tonight's sponsor, PPG, Paul Shalinga.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Let's give a listen to the roar of these engines here in Weedsport. Very, very exciting moment as these cars and these drivers are set to go after it. A look at our Rush Hour pace truck, a Dodge Dakota provided by Sam Dell Dodge, downtown Syracuse. And it's time to take a look at the starting lineup for the Sage PPG Challenge 97. Row 1 still looking for the guaranteed starting spot at Syracuse, the number 56 of veteran Pat Ward. And outside, the barefooted wonder in the Kitty Drugs Troyer, number 9, Bob McCready.
Danny Johnson will start inside of row number 2 in the Freightliner of Newburgh's car number 6, the 5-time winner this year already in the Skoal Series we mentioned. He was the 1992 Skoal champion alongside a 2-time winner this year and 4-time Skoal champion, Jumpin' Jack Johnson in the Duchess Overhead Doors, number 87.
On to row 3, the 99J of Jimmy Phelps and the 32 of Gel Tag.
Row 4 on the inside, starting in the number 7 spot, will be the 88 Frank Cozy, Windgap, Pennsylvania, Sonny Moody's CarQuest Troyer car. Alongside his rookie driver, Sean Beardsley, in 3B. He's out of Central Square, New York.
To row 5 in the CarQuest Olson out of Edwards, New York, the 19 of Timmy Fuller. And outside the M1 of someone who wants so desperately to win one of these Skoal races, he is Mr. Consistency, Jimmy Horton.
Bobby Varon is on the inside of row number 6, and Fred Tanner's number 111, alongside one of the winners from Canandaigua last night, Gary Tompkins, and the Bill Trout, number 84.
We'll be looking for big things inside row 7 from the Budweiser number 3 of Brett Hearn and the 11 of Brian Turner.
Back in row number 8 on the inside is Billy Decker, the Pennzoil number 91. Canada Joe's alongside in the Maple Leaf Special number 1 also.
On to row 9 is the 5 of Guy Sheldon and the 99 of Chuck Bauer.
Mike Colson in a Ford-powered car sits inside of row number 10. He's out of Binghamton, New York. Alongside is Dave Camara from Pulteney, Vermont.
Row 11, the 47 of Scott Prentice and the R24 of Dirt's winningest all-time driver, Alan Johnson.
Bernie Smith's Reclamation number 33 sits inside of row number 12. The driver is Jeff Hetzler. Alongside is the 1996 Skoal champion, Doug Hoffman out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, in the Blockbuster number 18.
Lucky row 13, Vic Coffey and Roger Loreno.
Back in row number 14 on the inside is the 1994 Mr. Dirt Sportsman champion, Timmy Dwyer. Mitch Gibbs is alongside.
And row 15, Bucky Hayes and Tim McCready in the 94. Our starter is Dave Farney. The field into turn 3. The pace truck looking to pull in. Now into turn 4. Pat Ward will look to fire. The green flag is out, and the Saves PPG Challenge 97 is underway. Bob McCready goes out high on Pat Ward and tries to wrestle the lead away, while Danny Johnson goes down low.
3 wide for a moment in turn number 2, and they decided to go 2 wide as they rush down the back straightaway. Here they come out of turn 4, down to the stripe for the first time. It'll be the barefoot wonder out of Watertown. McCready leads lap number 1.
And the fans are standing, many of them, oh, so excited. Bob McCready has the top spot, and now the doctor takes over number 2.
Andy Johnson slides by on the inside. There you see Jack Johnson coming up on the inside, as well as Pat Ward is shuffled back to 3 and thoughts about going to 4 as Jack Johnson now falls off the pace just a bit. They shuffle the deck further on back. There you see Timmy Fuller, and now we go back to the lead. Dr. J trying to run down Barefoot Bob.
Bob won the championship at Brewerton on Friday, also won that feature race, and so he's looking to make it a very, very big weekend.
And on the flip side of the coin, Danny crashed last night at the Middletown Speedway, so he's not had a good weekend so far.
There's McCready and Danny Johnson right on his back bumper on the front straightaway into turn 1. 4 laps complete. And look at how high McCready is going.
Way up on the top, and Danny might have wanted to be up there as well, but he can't go there if he's going to pass him, so he's got to come to the bottom of the racetrack.
There is a look at our leaders down the front straightaway once again. Bob McCready now lengthens his lead just a little bit on Danny Johnson. And third place is Pat Ward. Fourth is Jack Johnson.
46-year-old chauffeur Bob McCready out of Watertown, New York, a father of 3. Danny's a lot younger. He too has 3 kids. They're all watching on TV tonight.
Off to a very, very smooth start. And look at the contrast in the lines these two drivers are taking.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a racetrack that's really working well out all the way around, and there's a great big berm that's being built up. You can see that there. That cushion is going to work for us all night long. Jack Johnson up against it in the yellow number 87 as he tries to run down the third-place car, but he's got a problem now in the form of Timmy Fuller, the third-place car being Pat Ward, but Fuller runs in position number 5, and he's testing Jack Johnson. So there's Fuller on the inside of the CarQuest 19, goes against Jack Johnson in the Duchess number 87.
And just look at how these drivers sling these cars into the turn. That rear end comes out, and then they charge down the straightaway. And boy, didn't Danny Johnson give Bob McCready a bit of a run.
Yeah, here they come up the lap, the Bucky Hayes car. The first car will go a lap down.
And that's just 9 laps into the race.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one, Doug, because there are cars all the way around this 3/8 mile racetrack. And there's Hayes a lap down now in the 1A.
Turner. He's got Jack Johnson.
That's Fuller and Fuller in the CarQuest car. Here you see him 3 wide down the back straightaway. There's another McCready on the bottom of the racetrack. Timmy driving his small block car tonight. The yellow and white number 94 is Timmy McCready. The Poorhouse restaurant car. Driggs Cubs also sponsored that. battle for 20th. You see Big Coffee in the red and white number 32 and Chuck Bauer in the yellow 99. Here we go back. We got a lead change as Danny Johnson has made the pass. He has trapped McCready up on the top of the racetrack, and well, I don't know. This is not settled yet. Timmy Dwyer was the first car there in line. This is lap traffic that's
right on you on the
back a problem here.
Yeah, so wreaking havoc with our leaders, the lap traffic, and Danny Johnson was able to get by Bob McCready.
You on the bottom.
Radios are going to be a very, very big deal here tonight as the crew chiefs and spotters trying to direct their drivers through the lap traffic. And traffic will be a factor all night long. We got a car that is blown up big time. That's Gilly Tegg, the car 32. There you see it, the Darrell Simmons car, Gil Tegg out of Rochester, showing a whole lot of smoke. He blew up coming down the front straightaway, probably left oil on the speedway, and the yellow flag is out.
And this comes on lap 14. Gil Tegg is smoking badly, and he'll be heading into the pits, and we'll be looking forward to going back under green flag conditions momentarily. Danny Johnson is your leader as we have a caution here at Weedsport. We're live at Cayuga County Fair Speedway, and our coverage of the Saves PPG Challenge 97 on Rush Hour will continue on the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Whether your car is Strawberry Pearl Coat, Santa Fe Silver, or Candy Apple Red, a PPG certified collision repair shop uses premium paint and a palette of over 100,000 colors to precisely match your car's color.
Whether it's fleet or manufacturing coatings, we have you covered. So when you choose PPG, you're selecting a world leader as your partner in coatings technology. For all your coating needs, call Saves Auto Body Supply, 315-468-2111.
I can't believe they went with the frogs. Louis. Our audition was flawless. Louis. We did the look. Huh? We did the tongue thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
Louis, frogs sell beer. That's it, man. #1 rule of marketing.
The Budweiser lizards. We could have been huge.
Hey, there'll be other auditions.
Oh, yeah, for what? This was Budweiser, buddy.
No.
This was big. Those frogs are going to pay.
Let it go, Louis. Let it go.
Honey, pinch me.
Return to your senses in Florida.
There is a place called paradise. I have seen the beauty of its islands, felt the warmth of its beaches, and heard my name whispered along its trees.
Leonard.
Oh, bummer.
Dreaming of a tropical island getaway? Florida's Lee Island coast. Call for your free visitor's guide to the Fort Myers and Sanibel area.
We are live under yellow at the home of Dirt Motorsports, Cayuga County Fair Speedway in Weedsport, New York, for the Saves PPG Challenge 97 on Rush Hour. The leader is Danny Johnson. Second place, Bob McCready. Let's go down to Cowboy Paul Small.
We are down here in the pit area where Tim McCready has pulled the Dreg Subs Poorhouse Tavern number 94 into the pits. They pulled the bonnet off of the car, and it looks like there's some fluid leaking out. Tim, an early exit from the race tonight. What happened to the car?
Well, you know, this, unfortunately for the Dreg Sub team, we had nothing but bad luck the last week or so. We wrecked it a few times, and it's just, you know, your maintenance program falls a little behind, and we had a water leak we didn't notice, and it got up to about 260, so we figured we better play it safe and run another day, and, you know, we'll hopefully get going tomorrow at Syracuse and roll wheels the next day.
Also in the pits for a tire change was Alan Johnson. He's back out as we're back under green.
And we're racing at Cayuga County Fair Speedway.
And Timmy Fuller has taken over the number 2 spot from Bob McCready. So Fuller on the bottom of the racetrack has passed McCready. The CarQuest number 19 is really charging here tonight. Takes over position number 2. McCready falls to 3. Hearn is up to 4. Pat Ward has fallen to 5. Jack Johnson is 6.
Fuller, a young 29-year-old, 5 dirt big block wins this year, and he's running very well here at Cayuga County.
But he has never won a school race or school big block race. So he's won some big block races and some small block school races, but never a big block school race.
There's the Budweiser number 3 of Brett Hearn. He is on the move. Remember, he started in the 13th position.
There's a wheel off of somebody's car. It's Fuller. Yes. Fuller, the second place car, has lost the right rear wheel, and the CarQuest 19 will crawl back to the pits. What a tough break.
Now let's see if there's any damage to the rear end of that machine, because he could conceivably get back out.
Yeah, he could get back out, but this is not good for it for sure, and the track was so very important here tonight.
17 laps in. Yep.
I say that because of the lap cars that will be a factor all night long.
There is a lot of traffic here as Fuller pulls into the pits. Let's go down to Cowboy Paul Small.
And they're rolling a right rear tire over to the Kitty Drug Store's number 19 of Fuller. They have to physically lift up the back end of the car. Hugh Naylor and a couple of the other members of Bob McCready's crew giving him a little extra hand here as they get the right rear corner up. There looks to be a little bit of cosmetic damage, but other than that, they're looking now as they try to hook up the lugs on the right rear. Looks like everything else is pretty much okay, so they'll get this tire on. Unfortunately, these yellow flag laps do not count until we get after lap number 50, so that gives Fuller a little extra time to get a fresh Hoosier Racing tire on and get back out in this race.
Now there's a look at the pit work, and it is fast. We're still under yellow, and it looks like he will be able to get out. Timmy Fuller will get back out on the lead lap, although, as you say, a lot of track position lost.
But the good news there is that apparently just the lug nuts came loose and nothing broke, so they were able to bolt on another wheel. And Huey Naylor from Bob McCready's crew involved in the operation. That's a very nice gesture, sportsmanship move on their part. Fuller just became a full-time race car driver last year. He used to work in a zinc mine 3,000 feet underground. He didn't like that. He does like racing.
Back under green. Dave Farney waves that green flag. The leader is Danny Johnson, and Brett Hearn is on the outside trying to take over the number 2 position. He's got it on the backstretch.
A bonsai move on the outside. Pat Ward has come to the number 3 spot. McCready is running 1-4. But what a move on the part of Brett Hearn, way up on the top of the racetrack. He had to have made contact with the wall, but whatever. He is a rocket. He's a jet. Brett the Jet.
We have contact with radio communications, race communications with Brett Hearn. Won this race twice, 90 and 93.
And there's Danny Johnson again. He was involved in a wicked crash last night. And we've got yellow on the speedway. Crash in some place, and maybe Alan Johnson.
Yeah, he was slowed, and now he is going to head into the pits. So Dirt's all-time winningest driver ducks into the pits on lap 19. We continue under yellow. These yellow flags do not count for the first 50, but here we go again. Danny Johnson and Brett Hearn up at the front of the pack. We're in the pits right there. Now back onto the racetrack. There are your 2 leaders.
Wouldn't you know it would come down to this. Of course, it's so early in the race. This certainly is important, but the key players all summer long continue to dice it out.
Paul Small is down in the pits with Alan Johnson.
They were checking the wheel insert on the right rear to see if any mud had impacted into that. That can always upset the balance of the car, and there is a ton of clay, as you can see here, right on the rear spoiler, and they're peeling that clay off, trying to get some of the weight out of the car. A couple of the crew members have crawled inside the car. Alan is still buckled in and behind the wheel. They're just trying to clean all of this excess clay and dirt out of the way here so they can get this car set back up properly the way they want it. Looks like a couple of wrenches may be coming out, and they're doing some work inside the cockpit on the Alan Johnson race car. We'll see if he can make it back out, guys.
What happened there? All that mud. There may be mud on the in the pedal area or something, because they're looking down there, and I don't know where he picked it all up. But he must have gotten out. He's involved in the operation. He handed a wrench back to one of the crew members. There's a big block built by Pat Morrison under the hood of that car for the first time tonight. That's the Rich Grasso number R24 that Alan took over just a few weeks ago.
And the work continues as we continue under caution here in Weedsport. And there's a look at your race leader, Danny Johnson. And since we go side by side on the restarts till the midway point of the race, the doctor will have his choice of lanes, and he's choosing outside, so he'll be high, and Brett Hearn will be low for the restart. And, you know, we're only on lap 19, but it almost seems like the stage is set here.
Yeah, the major combatants, again, as we talked all summer long, have been Brett and Danny. We should establish also that Alan, we've talked about him, is Danny's older brother. The green flag flag is ready. The green flag flies, and Danny goes back to work. Hearn's on the bottom. There's McCready up on top. He'll take back the number 3 spot. Ward falls to 4 as they rough off into turn number 1.
Yeah, after struggling just a bit, Bob McCready is looking strong once again, and we have a car into the wall in the first turn.
Gary Tompkins bounces it off the wall. A tough old Big Del car there, I guess, because he's going to keep right on and running. You saw him racing along with the 33 of Jeff.
3 on the top.
Guy Sheldon in the red and white number 5.
Battle for second. Bob McCready down underneath Brett Hearn, but he could not get the job done as we have the car stopped now.
Yeah, that's Gary Tompkins. I thought that contact with the wall was too severe to be not a problem, and he is stopped and making a pit stop now with the Bill Troughton car.
So Tompkins into the pit as we take a look at Danny Johnson, your race leader.
Tompkins, the winner last night in a small block car, looked just like this one, but it was obviously different. This is only the second time that he's run this particular car. It was brand new for the Susquehanna show back in June.
So we have our 4th caution coming on lap 21. We are live at Cayuga County Fair Speedway, and our coverage of the Saves PPG Challenge 97 on Rush Hour will continue after these messages. This is the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Race fans, you make the call. New LCI residential long-distance customers receive 30 minutes of free domestic calling and the World Card Plus calling card featuring participating NASCAR drivers. Don't delay. Call now. 1-888-TEAM-LCI.
Hi, I'm Brett Hearn of the Budweiser Racing Team.
And I'm Trooper John Hollenbeck of the New York State Police.
It's obvious that out on the track, you can't win a race if you don't finish.
It's the same for you. Be a winner. Get to your destination in one piece. Don't drink and drive.
The Great Outdoors RV Superstore, your Fleetwood powerhouse dealer. Over 200 Fleetwood fold-downs, travel trailers, and fifth wheels. Coleman, Mallard, Prowler, Savannah. The best selection on Fleetwood motorhomes. Seasport, Jamboree, Founder, and Pacero. All built by Fleetwood, the world's largest RV manufacturer. Come to the Great Outdoors RV Superstore, Route 57, Fulton.
On Saturdays, your customers can receive 2-day packages from FedEx. Cost? An extra $10.
On Saturdays, your customers can receive 2 to 3-day priority mail packages from the U.S. Postal Service. Cost? $3. And there's no extra charge.
On Saturdays, your customers cannot receive 2-day packages from UPS. Sorry.
So, what's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Montgomery, we are back under green at Cayuga County Fair Speedway. Danny Johnson is your race leader. Brett Hearn is second. Third is Pat Ward. And fourth is Barefoot Bob McCready.
And fifth is Brian Turner. Frank Cozy rides on 6. Jack Johnson has just taken over 7. Billy Decker is 8. Bobby Viren is 9. Joe Plosick is 10. And we're under yellow once again. Alan Johnson has spun between turns 1 and 2. That's the 3rd caution tonight that Alan has been a factor in. Something wrong with the Rich Grosso trucking number R24.
So Alan Johnson continues to struggle while Danny Johnson continues to lead the Saves PPG Challenge 97. Production support for Rush Hour on Dirt is provided by Access Rentals in Syracuse and Albany, New York, one of the country's largest suppliers of aerial lifts. They extend every effort to get your job done. Access Rentals. Coming up in October, it's Super Dirt Week 26. Will you be there? We will be. Back to racing now at Weedsport as the green flag flies and Danny Johnson has the upper hand. Brett Hearn second. McCready now third, and Pat Ward dices back to fourth.
Some great racing in the middle of the pack, 3 and 4 wide. There you see Hearn and McCready, and just ahead of them is the Dr. Danny Johnson. McCready goes to the top of the racetrack, chases Hearn down the front straightaway.
Good battle for second place as McCready goes high. We go back to Jack Johnson, but there is your battle. That is the headline battle right now on the racetrack. Brett Hearn in second place, Bob McCready in third, going way high. He can't get it down, but he dives down low, down the front straightaway.
Oh, McCready changes lanes. He danced with the devil for a while up on top, and now Hearn comes fighting right back on the bottom. Great side-by-side racing at over 100 miles an hour. McCready backs it in up against the berm, bouncing it. That's not good for his back for sure.
Boy, isn't that what dirt modified racing is all about?
Changing lanes and up on the berm and then to the bottom of the racetrack, every which way but straight, and they're all trying to run down Danny Johnson, who loves to have side-by-side racing behind him. That means that they're worried about where they're doing and not what he's doing, and he's trying to run away and hide.
And these two fellas that we're watching right now, Brett Hearn and Bob McCready, they just love to race hard and race clean.
They certainly do, and they get a lot of TV time. And the guy behind them is Pat Ward. He doesn't get a lot of TV time. Sort of a low buck operation. The John Finch car, the Finch logging car that Pat Ward constructed by himself with his own design, and he does a great job for Finch, and he runs in position number 4. He'd love to win a skull race. There you see the man who is battling for the track championship here tonight. Joe Blazek in the Maple Leaf number 1, the Jack Doherty Enterprises Stakeout Restaurant car. He's trying to run down. We've got caution on the Speedway again. A ball. Let's see. We've got Bucky Hayes up against the wall, and heavy contact. You see the right front wheel has been torn right off the axle.
Boy, he hit it hard, no question about that. And the yellow flag flies 29 laps into our 97-lap event here in Weedsport. And earlier you mentioned Pat Ward. Very important race for Pat Ward, who's still looking for a guaranteed spot at Syracuse.
Yeah, that's very important. We talked about the low buck deal, and this is where bucks pays a big deal at Syracuse. And if Pat Ward could get a guaranteed spot, that would really take some pressure off of that team.
Meanwhile, the race leader continues to be Danny Johnson as the cleanup operation takes place in turn number 1. And Danny, of course, is driving that Freightliner car, which has never finished out of the top 10 in this race. There have been other drivers behind the wheel, but this car and this sponsor has never finished outside the top 10.
That's an incredible statistic. Another statistic is that car is going to be in double use tomorrow, as this is the only car they've got left for this weekend after the crash last night at Orange County. So they're going to put the Syracuse motor in it tonight to run on the mile. Then they'll decide what engine to use at Rolling Wheels tomorrow night. So they're going to be really doing some work there. Charlie DeAngelis and the crew, heavy duty.
Get a big red pen out and circle your calendar. October 7th through the 12th, Super Dirt Week 26. Let's take a look.
A victory at Syracuse. A golden moment missing from these dirt gladiators. An opportunity for greatness. To win is to become a legend. The crowning achievement of a storied career. Not to win, well, wait till next year. But another chance at a golden moment is on the horizon as Super Dirt Week is right around the corner. Tickets are on sale now. Call 315-834-6606.
Make sure you call now to see the Doctor and Brett Hearn and Bob McCready and company in action. Super Dirt Week 26 at the New York State Fairgrounds. We are live at Cayuga County Fair Speedway, and our coverage of the Saves PPG Challenge 97 on Rush Hour will continue on the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Two of racing's best and brightest beauties show up in their brand new apparel from the new Dirt Sportswear Direct catalog. And this catalog's free. It's the latest in fast fashion from Dirt Sportswear Direct, shown by some famous faces and bodies. It's the best racing apparel in the best free catalog. You don't want to miss this stuff, so order your catalog today. Call toll-free 1-800-979-DIRT. 1-800-979-DIRT.
Hi, I'm Bobby Labonte. On race day, we have a team of mechanics to keep our car running. Unfortunately, I can't get all these guys to follow me around when I drive my personal car. That's why I have an Easy Care vehicle service contract. It covers all major repairs on my car from the engine to the tires. Easy Care is the best service contract you can get. So make sure you ask your dealer for Easy Care protection for your car or truck.
Tell me a story. What are you doing? Can you play with me? Can I have some juice?
Too busy to watch the game? Sports Channel Light is a 30-minute condensed version of the day's best game every night at 11.
Tell me another story.
Sports Channel Light. How to make the game when you can't make the game.
We are live at Cayuga County Fair Speedway for the Saves PPG Challenge 97 on Rush Hour. Well, we are so proud of the exciting brand of racing that we bring you during these Rush Hour series, and we're also proud of our sponsors. Here's Cowboy Paul Small.
Pat, most people may not realize, whether they be new car finishes or race car finishes, that the products come from PPG.
Oh, yes. We cover automotive, fleet, and a lot of manufacturing supplies also.
And what attracted PPG, and in particular your business, Saves Auto Body Supply, to Dirt Motorsports?
Well, PPGs have been affiliated with racing for so many years, we felt it was a very good marriage for us locally. We've done so well in automotive and fleet that we think we can get a lot of our industrial business out there through the Dirt Motorsports.
Back to racing. The green flag is out. Hey, Brett Hearn tries down low on Danny Johnson, but Danny is still able to hold him off.
And McCready will go up on top as they race on the bottom, but the yellow flag is flying. We've got a car that is spun in turn number 3 and 4. Between turns 3 and 4, Gary Tompkins involved again.
Boy, and some bumping and grinding in the back of the pack as these cars try to slow down to make sure they miss that stopped vehicle. 29 laps in, and the yellow flag flies once again.
And a little change in format. You mentioned it earlier, but we'll touch on it again. Usually we run 25 laps and don't count the cautions. Tonight we're running the first 50 without counting cautions. So the lap counter is frozen on lap number 29.
Now let's see what Gary Tompkins does. Looks like he's going to stay out. Gary and Alan Johnson have had their troubles today.
Yeah, they certainly have. These guys aren't having any trouble up front.
No.
They are the guys that finished first and second in this race last year, as a matter of fact. Danny won it. Brett was second. Bob McCready was fourth last year. So they're all very much in the hunt of things here tonight. A little statistic also, Joe Plazik is now running in position number 8. He started in the 16th spot. So we'll keep our eyes on the Maple Leaf 1 and Canada Joe as he tries to earn the track championship.
Let's get an update on the track condition. Here is Cowboy Paul Small.
Well, we were talking about that big berm, that cushion of dirt that builds up on the outside of the racetrack in the corners. It tends to move up and push up faster in turns 1 and 2 than it does in 3 and 4. We've seen a lot of action in turns 1 and 2 where the guys get dangerously close to the wall. We'll see that again as we come down for the green flag. Watch how close these guys get these right rears to that concrete.
Yeah, it's scary. They are flying. Now we have a big mishap in the front straightaway. A lot of cars going sideways. Looks like everybody gathered themselves back in and got through smoothly. How about that?
Imagine it. Closer than you park your car in a supermarket at over 100 miles in the supermarket parking lot at more than 100 miles an hour. Incredible racing.
The doctor continues to hold the lead. Brett Hearn is second. Pat Ward and Bob McCready have just been exchanging the 3rd and 4th positions, and we have a car spun. That's Jeff Hetzler outside turn 2.
Jeff Hetzler going the wrong way on a one-way street with the Bernie Smith car, and we have yet another yellow, lap number 31 now showing on the lap counter.
So we've had our share. What do you suppose is causing this, Gary?
Speed. That's what, yeah. What it comes down to. It's a fast racetrack. We've talked about the cushion. We've talked about how tacky it is. This is a fast racetrack in close quarters. The walls around the outside As I said, the walls are about halfway around the inside as well, so not a lot of room to operate, especially at these speeds.
And this is the stretch run of the season. The stakes are high, and everybody is trying to just press it to the limit.
That's for sure. They do it every night, whether it be the beginning or the end of the season, I think, and they kind of forget where they are, what they're all about. They just want to win races. Points, we talk about it. They don't worry too much about it. They want to win races. That's what it's all about.
One individual who we're used to seeing on the move is Jimmy Horton, but tonight he started 10th and he continues to run right at that 10th position.
Well, we talk about him being consistent, so that's what he's doing. He's consistently 10th. He's probably biding his time. He can't stand the excitement up front. He'll watch for a while.
And the excitement is being led by Danny Johnson. Brett Hearn second. Now there's Bob McCready third, and fourth place is Jumpin' Jack Johnson, who just jumped by Pat Ward.
Jumpin' Jack on the bottom of the racetrack. The top is full of the fast guys, so Brian Turner goes down to the bottom as well. We saw Joe Plazik down there. Now that's Joe's normal line around the Weedsport Speedway, the Cayuga County Fair Speedway as they call it. He now battles with Jimmy Horton for the number 10 spot and gets the position.
You know, and as we take a look at the front of the pack once again, we spoke at the beginning of the show about this Hall of Fame lineup. Look at Danny Johnson, Brett Hearn, Bob McCready, Jack Johnson, all future Hall of Famers 1 through 4.
Yeah, they just got to get older and quit racing, and they can get in. Jack Johnson, he's older, but he's not going to quit racing for a while, that's for sure.
So here we go out of turn 4 down the front straightaway. Brett Hearn on the back bumper of Danny Johnson. Can't get by him. A couple of car lengths back to Bob McCready. Jack Johnson says he needs some consistent green flag racing to really unwind his car, but he feels like he's got a good machine around him.
He certainly does. Dan Mazin has provided some great equipment. Some great equipment also for Brian Turner. This is a real story in the making here. Brian, second-year modified driver, doing a great job in a family operation. His dad owns the car. His brother's the crew chief. Frank Reese, a good friend of the family, is involved, and they're really getting the job done here. This young 25-year-old driver out of Victory, New York, running in the top 5, 6, 7 positions all night long here.
Does Hearn have something for Danny right here?
Well, we're going to find out. Danny has changed lanes. He's come to the bottom of the racetrack, so Hearn goes up on top. He'll bounce it off the cushion for a while, and that's the leader's option. He can go wherever he wants to go, and if he thinks somebody's catching him, oh, there's a little love tap as Danny...
One on the top!
And Hearn will try to make a pass on the outside. Oh, boy.
We are hooked up with the scanner of Danny Johnson.
Yeah, they changed lanes. Danny didn't like it down on the bottom because Brett was there. He goes back to the top.
2 lead, 2 on the top. 4 on the top.
Laps in.
Guy Sheldon in the 5 car about to go a lap down. You just saw him in the screen a moment ago. Sheldon of Nassau, New York. Bob McCready riding back in the number 3 spot, not getting a lot of TV time right now. The battle for 4 is to go to a Jack Johnson has it, but Pat Ward is right there. Here we go back a little further in the pack. That's for position number 6. Turner has it, and Joe Plazik has now moved to 7. So Plazik up to 7, racing with Brian Turner for the number 6 position.
There's Joe Plazik, the Canadian number 1. Right behind Jumpin' Jack Johnson, then Brian Turner, then Joe Plazik. Good look at the speed cam there on the front straightaway. You get an idea of the tremendous speeds of these cars.
They're at well over 100 miles an hour when they pass that camera. Now they scrub off some speed going through the corners, but the average speed here is just under 100 miles an hour.
No contact currently between the leaders. There's contact right there between Jack Johnson and Pat Ward. And Ward goes out high, tries to make a run at Jack Johnson down the front straightaway, but Jack continues to hold the position.
The leader, Danny Johnson, is going to encounter lap traffic here in just another lap or so, and one of the first cars that he'll catch will be his older brother, Alan. We've talked about Alan struggling here earlier. Well, he's going to struggle a bit right now as his younger brother's coming up to lap him here in just another lap or so.
Continuing to watch the battle for 4th. Jack Johnson has the spot. Pat Ward wants it.
Jack Johnson closing in on Bob McCready. Now, that could have been a result of the lap car, but that's Sean Beardsley, the rookie, down on the bottom of the racetrack, getting out of everybody's way, doing a nice job. and he'll slow the Pat Ward effort down just a bit as Jack Johnson takes it right up to the cushion going into turn number 3, right up on the top of the berm.
He comes flying down the front straightaway. There's your leader. Danny Johnson won the 358 modified race Friday at Ransomville. Allen won the track title. His brother.
So Danny has moved by brother Allen, and now has caught Vic Coffey. Coffey is the next car to go a lap down.
50 laps to go. Danny Johnson is the leader. He won the 75 lap Hall of Fame race here back on May 25th. And he's in command here.
He certainly is in command right now. He has opened up the most comfortable advantage he's had all night long. He's got 2 lap cars and about a half a straightaway over Hearn. So Danny is really getting the job done here as we work on lap number 48. 48 laps complete. And there's Plazek. He's passed Brian Turner for position number 6.
Yeah, Alan Johnson has just moved off the racetrack. There's Joe Plazek continuing to run quite well here at Cayuga County. Let's go down for an update with Cowboy Paul Small.
And Joe is changing lanes on the racetrack, as you can see, guys. He prefers to keep it down on the bottom of the racetrack and literally drive the car around the corners. He's now moving up to the outside lane to get by some of this traffic. That means he's pushing the tires a little bit harder, but Joe's probably one of the smoothest drivers on the racetrack. Joe's reporting from the car that everything's fine. He's just trying to pace himself to be there at the end.
And why not?
He would love to win this track championship, and he knows what he's got to do. As he said earlier, he's got to win it. Pretty much that's what it boils down to, especially if McCready stays in the race. Right now, McCready is in front of him by a couple of spots. Just a 7-point separation for that title entering tonight's program.
Danny Johnson, a 4-second lead on Brett Hearn.
Hearn has virtually no lead on Bob McCready, however. He didn't. Now he's stretched out a car length or so, but there's McCready right tight behind Brett Hearn, and not far back. And 4 is Jack Johnson.
There's the jet. There's Bob McCready, and right on his bumper, Jack Johnson in that yellow car.
Pat Ward holds on to 5. Joe Plazek is now 6. Brian Turner 7. Jimmy Horton is 8. Billy Decker is 9. And rounding out the top 10 right now is the defending Skoal champion, Doug Hoffman. The blockbuster video number 1 moves into position number 10 on lap number 54.
We mentioned earlier Timmy Fuller had some problems. He has just gone a lap down. Fuller a lap down, but a lot of folks are going to be a lap down to Danny Johnson.
They certainly are. He's cutting through this field with reckless abandon. Oh, Pat Ward has made contact with a slowing Timmy Fuller in turn number 3, and the yellow flag flies. Fuller will not be able to clear. What a tough break for Pat Ward. The front end of that car is all messed up after he ran into the back of the slowing number 19.
Very bad news for Ward. There's Fuller heading off. We'll try to take a look at Pat Ward and see how his car looks as he comes by down the front straightaway. He's testing it out a little bit.
It doesn't look that bad. Part of the sheet metal is messed up, but it appears that the wheels are all going straight.
There's your leader, the doctor, Danny Johnson.
Chuck Bauer in the yellow 99. Chuck, a graduate to the big block division here just a few weeks ago. Roger Loreno about to go to the pits with the Tanner Dairy Stores, number 36, the Ivyland, Pennsylvania driver.
Well, Labor Day weekend, of course, is one of the real great racing weekends of the year. How about a Labor Day preview?
2 races in one day, a Labor Day tradition. First, the Mighty Modifieds head to the Mooney Mile at the Great New York State Fairgrounds for one last test before Super Dirt Week. 50 laps of high-speed excitement, and to the victor, the guaranteed 7th starting position in the Phase 300. Then the boys move down the road to the fast track Rolling Wheels Raceway for the Robert N. Petrosi Memorial. A true test of endurance greets the Dirt Modifieds tomorrow on Labor Day. Action begins at the New York State Fairgrounds at 1 p.m., followed by the Robert Petrosi Memorial at Rolling Wheels at 7 p.m. It's a doubleheader tomorrow on Labor Day.
We have a battle for first place, and Brett Hearn has just passed Danny Johnson. Danny Johnson has just broken in turn 4.
There is no battle. Danny is... number 60, and Danny Johnson's hopes for a win here tonight. The points that he wanted to hold on to that point lead are dashed. A mechanical problem.
Danny has won this race 6 times, the last one last year. Looking for win number 6 on the Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series Tour, and he's not going to get it tonight.
What a tough break. Really had the feeling.
Monster, what is it? I don't know, he ain't saying nothing.
Here's a look at the 2 cars coming out of turn 2 and 3 into 4. And look, now watch Danny Johnson. He just seizes up. And that is that. Isn't that something?
Tough break.
Meanwhile, a big break for Brett Hearn. We mentioned the fact that he was looking up in the point standings up to Danny Johnson, and now Brett Hearn is not only your race leader, but stands to, if he can finish, take over the points lead heading into Super Dirt Week.
All that's so important. With Hearn, definitely has the advantage at Syracuse because he's won it 5 times. Danny has never won, so you got to give Hearn the advantage when they get to the mile.
Now we are on lap 62, and these caution laps are counting. So Danny Johnson is down a lap, moving on to down 2 laps as we get set to go racing once again here at Cayuga County. They're working on Danny's car feverishly, but he's out of the hunt. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, he's not going to win, and that's what he wanted to do.
Now, one thing that we can ask you, though, Gary, is how critical is it for Danny to get back out?
Well, as was mentioned early on, Syracuse is double points. Now, not tomorrow's race in Syracuse. That's not a Skull Show. But when you get there for the Phase 300, that is double points. So every point that you can accumulate prior to Syracuse is very, very important. So Danny's crew is going to try to get him, figure out what the problem is and get him back in here. He won't win the race, but he can perhaps get back in and earn some points.
We are about to go green once again here at Weedsport. Meanwhile, Paul Small, you got an update on Danny Johnson?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly what the problem is on Danny Johnson's car. It's right in the rear end housing. You can't tell because there's a red chassis on this car, but there is red gear oil all over the back end. You can see Charlie D'Angelo's here, the black jacket underneath the car. He is working as they turn the rear end, and it looks like there's pieces of metal. They've definitely got a problem inside that quick change rear end, Doug.
All right, thank you very much. Brett Hearn is your leader. We're back under green.
There you saw some contact as Pat Ward made contact first with Jack Johnson and then with the wall as he tries to make a pass. There's Jack on the bottom, Pat Ward up on top. We go back to the leader, Brett Hearn.
Hearn, McCready, Jack Johnson, Pat Ward. Pat Ward's best finish ever in this race, 4th back in 1988.
This has been a great weekend for Pat already. He was 3rd Friday night at Brewerton and a 2nd place last night at Canandaigua, and then came back and finished 5th as well in the local features there. So it's been a great weekend for him. He struggled earlier in the season.
And we're struggling getting some racing in. We have a yellow back out again, and it looks like it's Cozy.
Don't know what the problem was because he's moving now. Frank Cozy, and there's a left rear tire is flat on the Sonny Moody car, and there you can see the reason. Well, you can't see it on TV, but we can see it as he slithered through 3 and 4. He'll make a dive to the pits now, but he'll lose a lap.
Race leader Brett Hearn. We're live at Cayuga County Fair Speedway, and our coverage of the Saves PPG Challenge 97 will continue on Rush Hour. This is the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Whether your car is Strawberry Pearl Coat, Santa Fe Silver, or Candy Apple Red, a PPG certified collision repair shop uses premium paint and a palette of over 100,000 colors to precisely match your car's color.
Whether it's fleet or manufacturing coatings, we have you covered. So when you choose PPG, you're selecting a world leader as your partner in coatings technology. For all your coating needs, call Saves Auto Body Supply, 315-468-2111.
When dealers say,
Show me the money!
Sam Dell wants you to just say no.
No down payment.
No security deposit.
No hidden charges.
Stratus, Escorts, Jeep Wranglers, Neons, Hombres, $199 a month, absolutely nothing down. If you hear,
Show me the money!
You say,
Save me the money!
$199 a month, nothing down at Sam Dell Ford Route 31 Clay, Sam Dell Chrysler Plymouth Jeep Eagle Route 11 North Syracuse, or Sam Dell Dodge Isuzu West Genesee Street.
Honey, pinch me.
Return to your senses in Florida.
Each year, the average American works 50.5 hours a week, puts in 336 hours of carpool, spends 182 hours doing yard work, and walks the family pet 730 times. If you're going to work that hard, shouldn't your vacation? Call for a free visitor guide and information on our $104 St. Petersburg Clearwater Busch Gardens vacation package. And let your money work hard, too.
Back racing at Cayuga County Fair Speedway. Brett Hearn in the Budweiser #3 leads. Bob McCready is second. Jack Johnson third. Pat Ward hangs in there in fourth. And the Canadian #1, Joe Plazik, is fifth.
Pat Ward is not only hanging in there, he is challenging for that spot. Pat Ward is feeling very, very racy up on the top of the racetrack trying to run down Jack Johnson.
17 cars on the track presently. 13 in the pit. Much attrition here this evening.
Nobody's coming.
Fast racetrack at close quarters. That's the reason for that high attrition rate.
Here's a look at Pat Ward on the back bumper of Jack Johnson. Good battle for position number 3.
McCready went way high in turn 2. You can see him just as they hand back to pick up this battle. Pat Ward is up there as well. So Pat's going to run the top. Bob's up on top. And Jack's down on the bottom. And Brett Hearn is checked out for the moment.
75 laps in. 97 on the docket.
Well, we know one of the guys that's watching this back home tonight is Phil Taylor, the owner of Taylor Motorsports cars that competed on the dirt motorsports circuit for a number of years, including the Doug Hoffman car that won at Syracuse last year and won the Skoal Championship. Doug also drove a Taylor Motorsports car to the Mr. Dirt Championship in 1991. Phil is home in Ellenburg Depot, New York tonight, fighting cancer. Phil, our thoughts and prayers are with you, buddy. Beat that stuff.
There's Jack Johnson in the 87. 20 laps to go. Pat Ward right on his back bumper. The battle for third. Pat Ward, of course, big night for him if he can wrap up that guaranteed Syracuse spot. Bob McCready's trying to make some move now. Meanwhile, on Brett Hearn for the lead. Hey, Kenny Tremont's Skoal Series leading streak of 232 consecutive Skoal Big Block race starts comes to an end tonight. Before tonight, his last Skoal absence was Orange County Fair Speedway, 1984.
An incredible record. That's an unfortunate situation. And here we see a battle between the red one, that's Doug Hoffman, and the black M1, Jimmy Horton, side by side. That's the battle for position number 8.
Well, it is time for Jimmy Horton to make his move, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been consistent back there in 10. Now he's 9 and trying to come to 8, but Doug Hoffman has other thoughts. Just in front of them is Billy Decker in the Pennzoil number 91, and Brian Turner flying. Brian giving the J.T. Turner car a great run here tonight.
I mentioned Kenny Tremont's Skoal Series streak snap. Now Brett Hearn is the longest current consecutive Skoal start streak. 220 in a row as of tonight.
And he shows no signs of not showing up in an event in the near future.
He's doing quite well, isn't he?
He certainly is. He's going to have some new competition in Syracuse come Super Dirt Week. An entry was filed today by Mike and Debbie Sancelli for the Anthony Ferriolo number 73 in the Phase 300. The driver, 4-time Syracuse winner Gary Ballou of Boca Raton, Florida. That entry was filed today. Ballou has won it 4 times. Hearn has won it 5 times.
As we continue to watch Hoffman and a Horton duel, we can tell you that our heat winners, Bobby Varon, Pat Ward, Frank Cozy, and Tim Fuller. Consolation winner tonight, Scott Prentice. Laps in.
Yellow 91, the Pennzoil 91, Billy Decker out of Franklin, New York. The Randy Ross owned car runs in position number 7. The lap car of Chuck Bauer down on the bottom. That's a yellow 99. There you see Turner in the red 11. And side by side still are Horton and Hoffman.
Bob McCready
McCready, as we take a look in turn 4, went in very, very hard, trying to close in on Brett Hearn. He's really trying to push Brett as we continue to watch Horton. There's Bob McCready right there in the Kinney Drugstore, number 9. He's trying to close in on Brett Hearn as we have 10 laps to go. But Brett Hearn is running a very, very smooth race right now.
He certainly is. He has the advantage of being in the number 1 spot and nobody right on his rear bumper. And for the moment, a clean racetrack in front of him. With 10 laps to go, he may not have any traffic before the checkered flag flies.
Just about a 1-second lead. Now, it seems like a number of car lengths, and it is, but 1 second can evaporate very, very quickly.
One little encounter with that giant berm up on the top of the racetrack, and 1 second could be dashed away like that. McCready is up on top running, trying to run down Hearn. Here comes Jack Johnson down on the bottom. Everybody pretty much settled in now up front, but there's a battle raging on back for 7, 8, 9 between Decker, Horton, and Hoffman. It is a battle royale. Well, Hoffman has just fallen off the pace a bit, and he'll watch for a while as he starts to run up on Brian Turner now. Turner in the red number 11 just in front.
90 laps. 90 laps in the books. 7 to go. Brett Hearn with a victory will tie him with Joe Plosick for the most dirt big block wins this season at 16.
That'll put him at over $40,000 in winnings so far this year in the Skoal Series.
There's Decker and Horton
and Turner.
Turner in the number 11. Decker in the 91. Jimmy Horton still looking for that first win. You know, he's going to hang in there in the points picture, and a win at Syracuse could still do it for him.
Well, he's going to hang in there, but he'll move up a spot. This will put, it's got to put Danny back at least 3rd, maybe even 4th. So Horton will come to the number 2 spot, and points would be.
Brett Hearn has broken to the front straightaway. Brett Hearn has broken, and Bob McCready has taken over the lead.
A flat right rear tire on the Budweiser Auto Palace car. Hearn gets the caution, but there's no way he's not going to lose a lap, I don't think. Oh,
checking the race communications. Now we're going to have a 3-lap shootout. We told you that the caution laps will not count the final 3. We will have 3 laps of racing, and we have a new race leader, Bob McCready.
And here I am talking about the points.
Yeah, let's go down to Cowboy Paul Small.
Unbelievable. This happened a couple of weeks ago at Delaware. It happens again here at Cayuga County. Brett Hearn is leading the race, and the right rear Hoosier tire has gone flat. And now the jack slips out from underneath the car. They've got to stick it back in there and try to rejack the car. Now they're getting it back up in the air. They're going to get the tire changed. Oh, what a devastating break for Brett Hearn. He was poised to take over the points lead big time with Danny Johnson dropping out, and now he's got problems of his own.
3rd time this month that Brett has had a flat right rear tire while leading Tri-City Delaware here again tonight. Unbelievable.
The lights are off in the pace truck as Brett Hearn comes flying back out on the track, trying to continue to collect any number. Look at him come flying onto the track now as we're going to go back to green. We have a battle now at front. It's Bob McCready, Jack Johnson, and Pat Ward, 1, 2, and 3.
Plosick comes to 4. Turner rides at 5. Decker is in 6. Horton is in 7. Hoffman is in 8.
Now, Brett Hearn lost a lap, but he's still out there trying to collect some points. We have 2 laps to go. Bob McCready and Jack Johnson is trying to make a run down the back straightaway.
Trying, but it's not going to work. He's about 6 car lengths back.
McCready out of turn 4. He'll take the white flag. Bob McCready needed this so desperately, coming in 5th in the points. He continues to lead out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Jack Johnson is 2nd. Pat Ward is 3rd. Joe Plosick is 4th. The double checkers are out. For the winner of the Saves PPG Challenge 97, barefoot Bob McCready. Jack Johnson 2nd, Pat Ward 3rd, and Joe Plosick 4th.
Brian Turner gets 5th, Billy Decker is 6th, Jimmy Horton is 7th, Doug Hoffman is 8th, and what what a turnabout of events. Unbelievable. You don't know until the checkered flag flies.
And so much needed, the victory goes to Barefoot Bob McCready here at Cayuga County. We are live, and our coverage of the Saves PPG Challenge 97 on Rush Hour will continue after these messages. This is the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Making it to the pros takes a certain level of excellence, the experience to get the job done right, and a reputation for quality. Like top quality CarQuest shocks and struts, professional technicians choose CarQuest gas charge shocks and struts because they can be confident they're installing the best ride around. So for the best possible performance, install what the pros install. CarQuest. Welcome to the pros.
Are you tough on your car's engine? Then keep it tough with Tough Oil. The Guinness Book of World Records calls Tough Oil engine treatment the most slippery substance known to man. This means that Tough Oil reduces the surface friction in your car's engine, giving you better acceleration and gas mileage. After 16 straight days of testing, Tough Oil is still going strong. The competition smoked out in 6 minutes. Government tests prove that Tough Oil is the most effective oil additive on the market. Call for information and a free brochure. Remember, nothing's tougher than Tough Oil.
If we look relaxed, it's because we got a great night's sleep in our new Craftmatic Monaco adjustable bed.
And I'm happy because of the 30% savings we received.
Well, you too can save 30% on a Monaco adjustable bed. Just call toll-free for this 30% off certificate.
Monaco is the ultimate in bedroom luxury. Standard features include this high-quality orthopedic mattress,
Fingertip adjustability controls for head and feet, dual variable speed massage,
and warm, comforting therapeutic heat. To save 30% off the Craftmatic Monaco of your choice,
call toll-free and get this special 30% off savings certificate by mail.
but hurry, this offer is limited.
So, call for your 30% off savings certificate and full details about Monaco right away.
Call toll-free 1-800-641-0330. That's 1-800-641-0330. Toll-free 1-800-641-0330.
Super Dirt Week 26 comes your way October 7th through the 12th, and we have a Super Dirt Week special. 90 minutes. It will air September 21st. Make sure you join us. Check your local listings for time. Super Dirt Week 26 special. 90 minutes. We'll hear from all the top drivers. Well, our top driver here this evening is Barefoot Bob McCready, and he's standing by in victory lane with Cowboy Paul Small.
Bob, you said at the top of the show tonight that the only thing you wanted to do tonight was win this race, and you certainly did that.
Well, it wasn't the way we usually win them, but instead of seeing how good everybody else was in that race and all that, I just got to see how good this crew I have is. Yeah. Best crew in modified division, the very best, and they've been doing it all without me for a year and a half, and I get in here and sit in here, but my input's gone, and shows you how strong this team is and how good this crew really is, that they carry on without me. They've done it for a year and a half, and they still put us in victory lane, even without any input from Bob McCready, so that shows you just how good these guys really are.
And by the way, with the feature event win tonight, my pleasure to inform you that you've also got the track championship here.
Well, it's mixed. I'm tickled to win it. I'm real happy for their sponsors, Kinney Drug Store, Syracuse Frame Service, and FX Repair Car Companies. I mean, that's why we're racing, to win, you know. But also, I know Joe Plazak and his family and how hard they've worked to get to the point to be able to race for it, too. And we gave him our best shot all year. He gave us his best shot, and we came out on top this time. But we are happy to win it, that's for sure.
Now we go on to that double-point finale at Syracuse. I know you'd love to win that race again.
Well, you'd like to win any race, especially at this stage of the game, you know. Any of them are sweet, and you savor them all. And I'd just like to thank everybody again, and Ron Hutter for 20 years of fantastic racing engines that we've never been able to utilize, but we try. And Troyer Engineering for some great race cars. And like I say, that 9 racing crew, the best crew in the business.
Congratulations to Barefoot Bob McCready, the winner of the Saves PPG Challenge here at the Cayuga County Fair Speedway.
And he's a great winner, great champion, Barefoot Bob McCready. Congratulations on the track championship as well. And boy, does this set up one heck of a school points race into Syracuse. There's a very happy Barefoot Bob McCready. Let's take a look at our race finishers here. Bob McCready wins the race this evening from Weedsport, and he really inherited the lead down the stretch when Brett Hearn broke. Bob McCready is your race winner. Jack Johnson finishes second, then Pat Ward, Joe Plozek, Brian Turner, and Billy Decker, the top 6.
Then it's Jimmy Horton, Doug Hoffman, Mitch Gibbs, Jimmy Phelps, Timmy Dwyer, and Mike Colson rounds out the top 12.
And there's a look at 13 through 18. The Saves PPG Challenge 97 will continue on the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Two of racing's best and brightest beauties show up in their brand new apparel from the new Dirt Sportswear Direct catalog. And this catalog's free. It's the latest in fast fashion from Dirt Sportswear Direct, shown by some famous faces and bodies. It's the best racing apparel in the best free catalog. You don't want to miss this stuff, so order your catalog today. Call toll-free 1-800-979-DIRT. 1-800-979-DIRT.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. There they go into that corner. And Bussy makes a move. Bussy Rudovic got the lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, marvelous Merv Trichlin.
Today was probably the biggest moment as far as I'm concerned.
I'm honored to be in it. You know, words can't describe how you feel.
Myrtle Beach, #1 for golf and family vacations. Call
5 series events at Cayuga County Fairgrounds. Danny Johnson or Will Cagle. Congratulations, Barbara, down in South Plainfield, New Jersey. Well, the points are closer than ever.
They certainly are. Just a 22-point separation. Hearn leads. Second is Danny Johnson. Horton is third. Jack Johnson is 4. And Bob McCready is 5th. Just 1 point back of Jack. 22 points to top 5.
Thanks for all the statistical help in the booth to Tom Skabinski and Kevin Kovac. Next time we talk to you, it'll be during Super Dirt Week 26 of the New York State Fairgrounds. For Gary Montgomery, Paul Small, and the entire Rush Hour on Dirt crew, this is Doug Logan saying thank you for joining us. And so long for now. Executive producer of Rush Hour on Dirt is Glenn Donnelly. Rush Hour is a production of Dirt Motorsports and a presentation of the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.